Hi class, let's take a look at problem 3. Now, problem 3A happens to be the same as we did before. One problem, it's going to do the intersection. And then the same inequalities, we're going to be doing the union for the same problem. So let's actually get all the information to graph both of these lines. So let me label them as technically 1. So I'll label this one as inequality 1. And then inequality 2. And let me do all the work for 1 on the side. Uh-oh. Give me just a sec. Okay, there we go. Okay, so in this case, notice that both of the lines, because they're stated as greater or actually less than or greater, they're going to be dotted lines. So in this case, we're going to actually graph y is equal to 3x plus 2, and this will be with a dotted line. The y-intercept, it's going to be 0, 2, and the slope is going to be 3/1. This is the important information for the first line. The information for the second line is going to be as follows. So we're going to graph y is equal to negative x minus 1. Also with a dotted line, the y-intercept is 0, negative 1, and a slope of negative 1/1. That's the important information on the second one. And let me put the dots so that I can insert the lines. So for the first one, let me put those dots in blue. So y-intercept is 0, 2. That's going to be here. And then we're looking at slope of 3, positive. So 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the right. That's going to be our second dot. For the second line, we're looking at y-intercept of 0, negative 1. So technically here. And then we're going to actually have a slope of negative 1. So that's going to mean that we go 1 down and then 1 to the right. Our second dot, it's going to be in this position here. Okay, so let me insert both of the lines. And remember that the lines are dotted. Okay, so let me change the actual weight on it and then also make it dotted. In this case, that's our first line. Let me do the second one. And let me put it in green. Uh-oh, that was the first one. Oh, okay, I modified it. Okay, so let me do another insert. And our second line is going through these points. Let me try to make it green. And it's also dotted. Okay, so let me take a look at the actual at the shading portion of each of these lines. And notice that on the first one, the one that has the y-intercept at 0, 2, it's a less than statement. So a less than statement, it's going to be shading every value below the line. On the second one, we're looking at a greater statement. It's going to be every element above the line. Now, let me pause the video for a minute. I'm going to draw the same regions on the second problem because we're doing the unions, and then we'll do the shading of both. Okay, I completed adding the same region to the second problem. In this case, I'm just referring to the same region, but remember that on B, we're going to be doing the union. Now, for the first one, it's going to be shading every value below. So technically here, it's going to be every value below. And the second one, it's going to be every value above. So green line, every value above. The intersection, it's going to be the side that we shaded twice. So notice that as you're shading this portion, this region gets shaded once. And then as you're shading the blue one to the, down, it gets shaded twice. So the intersection is this region on the plane. The actual union, well, technically we would shade every value above that line and then also every value below this line. So this mess here in this region is our intersection, which is the only portion that we shaded. So let me try to display this one completely. In terms of the intersection, both of our lines are dotted, and that is your region. We're only looking at this segment of the plane that is shaded. We leave the arrows just to indicate that we would have shaded in that portion. If we had to do the union, in that case, we're shading every single portion. So green line, every value above it, blue line, every value below it, and it's okay to shade this one twice. What we're looking at some of these problems is the part that's not shaded, in this case this region. So on the union, this part is not shaded. On the intersection, this part is shaded. Let me see if I can show both of the solutions in one. No, the problem. Okay, I was able to fit it into 2 pages within the video. And here, once again, it's easier to visualize the intersection and then the union all throughout. Let me just display one more, the using technology. And you can actually see here the part that was shaded twice. So this portion here represents your intersection. And then every value that is highlighted represents the OR. So this region here, it's this region that we did here. And then you can see that, well, all those 3 regions represent these 3. And this is the only portion that is not shaded at all on the union. That's it for this problem. I'll put the other problem on a different video.